And we're back. It's time for quickfire Oh no, it's not. We've changed up a bit this week, haven't we?
You nearly had me then.
It's actually Hindsight Help, the brand new segment. We're doing this first, and then we're gonna, John's getting a bit. You don't like the quickfire problems coming first, do you? Because you're not really warmed up, are you?
Yeah, I was saying that to you, wasn't I, over the last week?
Yeah.
I think it's just better if we warm up sometimes. I mean, we can do them first sometimes if you want, but sometimes I need a little bit extra time to get all revved up for it.
Yeah, so we're gonna give it a bit of a miss this week, but we're not really because it's coming later. But we're giving it a miss from the start of the show.
Yeah.
If it came to me, I'd prefer to do it now, but I want to get John more comfortable in the podcast sphere. So I'll adhere to him for now.
You didn't have to roll your eyes when you said that. So should I read out the hindsight? Should I read out the problem and what they've done, and we can see? Yes,
go.
Cool.
Oh, by the way, it's not. I don't have a stammer this week. I've done that twice now with goes. It's just, I just think it's cool, don't you?
Yeah, I like it. I think you should keep doing it.
Yeah. Okay, go on, John.
Right. So they've written the letter as follows. Hello, BC and JM. My name is Carla Bevanshire, hereby known as the Defendant. I recently broke up with my wife, hereby known as the victim. I, the Defendant, sought advice from Agatha Do This, hereby known as the Instigator. I went to the Instigator to seek advice on how to get over the breakup with the victim. The Instigator advised the Defendant to pursue rigorous courtship with the victim in perpetuity. The Defendant then followed their advice and caused the victim undue stress and emotional pressure. The victim reached out to a solicitor, hereby known as the Solicitor, and charged the Defendant with 12 counts of sneakery and half a count of indecent exposure. The Defendant seeks counsel from Coulda, Woulda, Shoulda podcast to rectify the situation and for rehabilitation purposes. Yours faithfully, the Defendant, hereby known as Carla Bevanshire.
Oof. Well, my head's a bit rattled after all that legal talk. As you know, John, we're not legal people, are we?
No.
We're advice givers. There's a big difference.
Yeah, advice and brains are very different from a courtroom.
Yeah. So, obviously, the first thing that came to mind when listening to that is Agatha Do This. Yeah. Oh, dear.
Even I've heard
dearie me. Why on earth did you go to Agatha Do This?
Where do we begin with her, to be honest?
I know. So, for those of you who are not aware of Agatha Do This, she's another advice giver in the advice sort of sphere, and she's a bit of a hack. She's, quite old now. She doesn't have any life experience. How old is she now? She's hit 100.
Yeah, she's, I want to say 103, 104. She had a very, very short-lived TV show. Quite happy to say it was short-lived because I think it was doing more harm than good, to be honest. That was a daytime as well, so you know what it's like.
It replaced the Jeremy Kyle show, didn't it?
Yeah.
Again, another advice giver.
Yeah.
I haven't got a sniff of that daytime ITV slot yet, but I'm holding out.
Yeah.
But Agatha is well known in the advice giving world to be not very good.
Yeah.
She's got a bit of a profile because she's been on ITV, but honestly, don't listen to a word that comes out of her mouth, and it's evident that you shouldn't be doing that from this letter because she's put this defendant in a very bad place.
Yeah, and the thing is with Agatha too, she makes you sign a waiver, so Agatha's not going to be held accountable for this at all. I meant to say as well, I did actually see Agatha once at sort of, I'd call it a get-together, I guess. I didn't get a chance to talk to her. But I saw her across the room, and she was taking far too much from the buffet.
Yeah.
So
I'm not surprised.
She's that kind of person as well.
Yeah, she doesn't know her fair share.
No.
And that also goes into the fact that she charges far too much for her services.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about you, John, but I don't do this for money.
No.
And Agatha clearly does, because I imagine she charged this defendant £60 a minute to get some advice. That's her usual going rate.
And she tries to stretch it out by talking slowly. And I know you're 104, love, but you don't talk that slowly normally.
No, it's just offensive, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get off Agatha, because you know we're here to help this person do what Agatha was meant to do, and offer advice on what we would have done in this situation, I think.
Yeah. Would you like to begin, Barrett, or how should we do this?
Yeah, so a relationship problem, a very common problem with many people in this country. So if you came to me, the defendants, if you came to me, I would not have advised you to pursue this victim at all. I would have advised you to get the hell out of Dodge, and that would have been the words I use. I would have told you, look, it's over. She's got a life, you've got a life, right? It might be painful for a few months, but get this, there's a whole load of fish out there.
Yeah. Amen.
One of them will bite.
You just got to dangle your hook for long enough.
You just got to find one, pluck it out of the water, and give it a good old rub down.
You can use a spear or a hook, whatever you were comfortable with.
Exactly.
Make sure you have a license there. And the thing you've got to remember as well is, if you broke up with them, you must have had a reason at the time. Like, afterwards, it might be hard to see that reason, but if you've broken up with somebody, there was probably a reason for you to break up with them. The relationship obviously wasn't working. You need to sort of reset your mind back to then and have a look inside it.
So it's going to be a bit difficult, because obviously we can't give advice to her because she's already got into this position of being in court.
Yeah, and we don't want to. It is what we say. Is she going to try and use that in the court? Is she trying to get us to represent her? Is that what's happening?
So there's been a couple of times where this has happened to me.
Right.
I call it sort of unjust defending,
right,
where someone, a defendant, sort of comes to me and pretends to be a normal person and says, look, I just need advice for this. Can you help me? But what I don't know is that they've got a little tape recorder recording what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then they use it in court as sort of like a sort of absent lawyer.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah,
I'm an advice giver. So that's one thing, the defendant. You are not going to use our words in your court.
Yeah.
John, what would you advise this woman to do?
I would...
Or to have done.
To have done.
Not to do, because we can't.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I'm trying to think of a way I can word this that they can't take it out of context and use it in the court, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry too much about it, because if you worry too much about it, you won't say anything, and we don't want dead air. We don't want it. It's not like last time.
Oh, what happened last time?
You know what happened last time, John.
Right. Okay. I would say find a professional. Chat to them. Barrett, hang on. Chat to them openly and honestly, because there is client solicitor. There is a secrecy there. They won't be able to tell anyone anything.
Allegedly.
What? Well, if you go to a reputable solicitor, obviously, and they won't be able to tell anyone anything. Don't say anything about
All the solicitors I know always,
What solicitors
tell
do
tall
now?
tales at the bar.
Are they registered?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You should probably tell somebody about them if they're doing that kind of thing.
Don't want to be involved.
And when you've got this professional on side, you can work through this case. We don't really have a lot to go on the case. Not that we would. I mean, what's sneakery? I wouldn't even know what time you would get for sneakery.
John, don't get bunged up in.
I like to know
speak.
the details. If I'm giving advice, I like to know the details. Otherwise, I'm just a bit lost, really. Carla. Yeah, you need to see a professional, really.
My summary would be, you should have just gone fishing.
Huh?
A metaphorical fishing, John.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. So
So
we'll just
go
say
fishing.
We'll just say this is case closed.
Problem solved, or problem in the past solved. Problem in the past solved.